Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Firstly, I will tell about my introduction. Myself, Monish Samadhya, and today's topic about Albert Einstein, the most genius scientist in the world. I will tell you about his full motivational story. So let's begin it. On 14 March 1879, Albert Einstein is born. Albert Einstein's father's name is Hermann Einstein and his mother's name is Pauline Einstein. His father is an electrical engineer. Einstein's theories of special and general relativity drastically altered man's view of the universe, and his work in the particle and energy theory helped make possible quantum mechanics and ultimately the atomic bomb. After a childhood in Germany and Italy, Einstein studied physics and mathematics at the Federal Polytechnic Academy in Zurich, Switzerland. He became a Swiss citizen and in 1905 was awarded a PhD from the University of Zurich while working at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. That year, which historians of Einstein's career called the Annus Mirabilis, the miracle year. He published 5 theoretical papers that were to have a profound effect on the development of modern physics. In the first of this, titled on a heuristic viewpoint concerning the production and transformation of lights, Einstein theorized that light is made up of individual quanta, means photons, that demonstrate particles like properties, why collectivity behaving like a wave. The hypothesis and important step in the development of quantum theory was arrived at through Einstein's examination of photoelectric effect, a phenomenon in which some solid emit electrically charged particles when struck by light. This work would later earn him the 1921 Nobel Prize in Physics. In the second paper, he devised a new method of counting and determining the size of atoms and molecules in a given space, and in the third, he offered a mathematical explanation for the constant erratic movement of particles suspended in the fluid known as Brownian motion. These two papers provided indisputable evidence of the existence of atoms, which at the time was still disputed by few scientists. Einstein's fourth scientific work of 1905 addressed what he termed his special theory of relativity in special relativity. Time and space are not absolute but relative to the motion of observer. Thus, two observers traveling at the great speed in regard to each other would not necessarily observe simultaneous events in the time at the same moment, nor necessarily agree in the measurements of space. In Einstein's theory, the speed of light, which is the limiting speed of any body having mass, is constant on all forms of reference. In the fifth paper that year, an exploration of mathematics of special relativity, Einstein announced that mass and energy were equivalent and could be calculated with an equations. E is equals to mc square. Although the public was not quick to embrace his revolution science, Einstein was welcomed into the circle of Europe's most eminent physicists and given professorships in Zurich, Prague and Berlin. In 1916, he published the foundation of the general theory of relativity, which proposed that gravity as well as motion can affect the intervals of time and space. According to Einstein, gravitation is not a force as Isaac Newton has argued, but a curved field in the space-time continuum created by the presence of mass, such as the sun would, there would appear to warm space and the time around it, which could be demonstrated by observing starlight as it skirted the sun on its way to Earth. In 1919, astronomers studying a solar eclipse verified predictions. Einstein made the general theory of relativity and he became an overnight celebrity. Later, other predictions of general relativity, such as a shift in the orbit of the planet Mercury and the probable existence of black holes, were confirmed by scientists. During the next decade, Einstein made continued contributions to quantum theory and began work on a unified field theory, which he hoped would encompass quantum mechanics and his own relativity theory as a grand explanation of the workings of the universe. As a world he renowned public figure, he became increasingly political, taking up the cause of Zionism and speaking out against militarism, and rearranged in his native Germany in 1933. Einstein announced his German citizenship, left the country. He later settled in the United States, where he accepted a post at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey. He would remain there for the rest of his life, working on the unified wheel theory and relaxing by sailing on a local lake or playing his violin. He became an American citizen in 1940. He, despite an lifelong pacifist beliefs, he agreed to write to President Franklin D. Roosevelt on behalf of a group of scientists who were concerned with American inaction in the field of atomic weapons research. Like the other scientists, he feared sole German's professions of such a weapon. He played no role, however, in the subsequent Manhattan Project and later deplored the use of atomic bombs against Japan. After the war, he called for the establishment of a world government that would control nuclear technology and prevent future armed conflict. In 1950, he published his unified field theory, which has quietly criticized as a future a unified explanation of gravitation, phenoid and electromagnetism remains exclusive today. Albert Einstein, one of the most creative minds in human history, died in Princeton in 1905. Thank you.